Question number 2. It reads a parallel plate capacitor consists of square plates of each length A and they are separated by a distance d which is much smaller as compared to the edge length. It is charged to a potential V and made to move with a constant velocity directed along one of its edges. How much magnetic field exists inside the capacitor? That's the question. So let's consider these are the two plates of the capacitor, which are large plates, and the separation between them is d, which is smaller. The edge length of this square plate is a, and let's say these plates are moved in this direction parallel to this edge with a constant velocity v. Now if we look from the ground and this charge plate q is going to be moved with a constant velocity, that means we can think of the charge is moving along these lines. If charge is moving along these lines, that means it will be equivalent to have a current in these lines. So if there's a current in this line, so current is going to be flowing through this conductor that can be visualized from the ground. So if the current is flowing in this, so this plate can be considered as a collection of current carrying wires. So that's a sheet carrying current. So they will act like there are two parallel sheets having flow of current through them, and the current is flowing in the direction of velocity. So we know because of a large conducting current carrying plate, the magnetic field between the magnetic field one side is written as mu naught k by 2, where k is the current per unit length. So if we know the current per unit length, so this is the direct formula, mu naught k by 2. Now since we are working at the midpoint or between these two plates, and the field because of the two plates will be adding up. How? Because of this, the direction will be somewhere, and in this you will find the current direction will be opposite, because negative charge is moving in that way, so the current will be moving opposite direction. So this will have a magnetic field direction same as the magnetic field direction of first plate at the mid of these plates. So they will be adding up. Vectorially they will be adding up. You can think of how the directions are being counted. Now just to help you out, from here the current is from this plate the current is coming outside, from this plate current is going inside, if somebody is watching from this, or maybe using two-dimensional view. So this plate, the minus q charge plate, will have a magnetic field in this direction, and if you look from this plus charge one, this is also going to be in this direction. So both magnetic field are going to be added up. So total magnetic field will be this. So I just help you out how to get the direction. So total magnetic field becomes mu naught into k, where k is current per unit length. So we need to find this k. So let's say I current is flowing, and that current is flowing through the length A, that is HA. So I by A we need to find. What is I? I is going to be a charge per unit time. So this charge, Q charge, the entire Q charge covers how much distance? A distance. Let's say that covers in T time. So we can say it's going to be I is going to be Q by T. And this was A downside, so I just multiplied by A upside and A downside. So downside A becomes A square and upside it is A. Now T is going to be the time it takes to move this distance, that means A distance with a velocity V. So the distance travel divided by speed, constant speed it is, so it's going to be A by V. So in place of T, we can write A by V, or we can simply say this A by T will become V. So that is V, and then A square, then Q. So this is the current per unit length. Moreover, this Q has to be identified. For that sake, it has said that capacitor is charged up to potential V. So capacitor is going to have a charge Q is equal to CV, where C is the A epsilon by D. A for area, so area of the square plate is going to be A square, small a square, epsilon by D into VV for voltage up to which it is charged. Now we can substitute the value of Q over here, then find K, then substitute K over here. So we will get our answer. So first K value has been substituted like this, so it becomes mu naught QV upon A square, then placing Q So mu naught v upon a square separately. Q is a square epsilon naught v by d. When you multiply, then you'll find mu naught will be surviving. Epsilon will be there. In square will get cancelled out. Small v will be there for velocity. Capital V for potential difference. D for gap between the place. So that will become our final response. And if you check, you'll find option A matching perfectly. Hence, A is the correct response. Okay. Thank you.